Hey gang, week 7, day 3. Our reading passage is Worldwide Loss of Bees, a Growing Concern, and this is by Alicia Fleck, adapted by Readworks, and it's going to go from pages 695 to 703. Here we go. When we think of bees, we think of pesky, buzzing insects that sting us and ruin outdoor gatherings. We might wonder, how badly can we possibly need bees? The truth is, bees are an incredibly important part of our ecosystem on Earth, no matter how annoying they may be to humans. Unfortunately, bees have been disappearing around the world for some time now. The disappearance of large numbers of bees continues to cause new problems around the planet. Researchers have been trying really hard the past 15 years to understand why honeybees around the world are dying off at very high rates. Over 1 million bee colonies or communities of bees disappear every year and never return. An official from the national government's agriculture department called a massive honeybee disappearance the biggest general threat to our food supply. How could something so small be so important to us as humans? Bees are used to pollinate many crops that people eat, like many of the almonds in California. Bees pollinate crops by transferring pollen from one plant to another, allowing the plants to reproduce. Pollen is powder that the plants make that helps it produce new plants. Bees are also essential for the population of apples and other fruits. Pollination of apples and other fruits. Without the pollination by bees, these plants are unable to reproduce and may die off. The mass deaths of honeybees have been linked to colony collapse disorder, a mysterious loss of bee colonies that has many possible causes. The deaths of honeybees may also be due to pesticides, parasites, and disease. Other possible causes include land development and changes in agricultural practices around the world. There are many kinds and species of bees. Honeybees are not the only ones disappearing in large numbers. Bumblebees are another group of pollinators whose widespread disappearance worries scientists. While some of the dangers of losing bees, such as damage to our food supplies, have been known for a long time, researchers are still learning even more troubling information about the loss of these crucial insects. Researchers say the disappearance of bumblebees presents a problem for certain plants that rely on them for pollination. These plants are having difficulties reproducing without the bumblebees. They are now at a higher risk of dying off completely. 2 scientists have been studying the impact of bumblebee loss on plant reproduction. As part of an experiment, they removed a certain species of bumblebee from a group of pollinators. The plants these removed bees normally pollinate were not all pollinated by the remaining bees. The remaining bumblebees flew between many different plants because the other bees had been taken out. They were less likely to pollinate just one kind of plant. The researchers said this experiment had damaging effects. For instance, one kind of purple wildflower needs pollen from its own species to reproduce and survive. With fewer bumblebees, the remaining bees transferred pollen from different plants. As a result, this purple wildflower was unable to survive as it would have before the loss of the bumblebees. The study points to a much larger issue beyond the harmful effects bumblebee loss has on the flowers. This study shows how important bees are to keeping the variety of plants and animal life, or biodiversity, in our ecosystem. The purple wildflower is just one example of how bee loss decreases biodiversity. In 2012, two U.S. organizations discussed the issue of bee loss. They also discussed the search for a solution to the problems caused by bees dying off. The organization concluded that there is no simple, easy solution for these problems. Although the organization did list some solutions that could help, these solutions including improving the habitats and care of bees and reducing the use of pesticides. The organizations noted that increasing honeybee survival is crucial to the pollination of crops and to our food supply. You guys have probably heard about the murder hornets that people are kind of getting worried about. These murder hornets are like 2 inches long, and they go into honeybee colonies, and they have like little pinchers on the front of their head, like that's their mouth, and they go in and actually kill these colonies of honeybees. They go in and they cut their heads off, and they kill the whole colony. I don't even know why they do it. I really didn't get into it. Didn't get into that in the article. So these murder hornets, they're, while aggressive if you mess with them, they're not after humans. They're after these bees. So that's another possible reason that the bee population is going down. Now, these murder hornets have only been found in Washington State and on the Canadian border. So it's nothing that we here in Kansas are having to deal with right now. So, but like I said, they're not after humans unless you aggressively pursue them. Then they feel you as a threat. But that's just another thing that I had read about the honeybee population decreasing. So anyway, vocabulary is next, and then questions.